Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their lives, whose misadventured piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's ends naught could remove, is now the 2-hour traffic of our stage. But which, if you have with patient ears attends, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. This story begins in Verona, Italy. Here two families have been at odds with one another. The Montagues and Capulets have been feuding for years. Here a pair of star-crossed lovers will take their lives, and by doing so end the feud. Our story begins with Romeo and Benvolio discussing Romeo's love interest, Rosaline. Romeo is the only child of the Montagues, and Benvolio is his cousin. Benvolio is trying to find Romeo a new lover.
Good day, my cousin.
How early is this day?
It just struck 9.
Sad hours seem long.
What sadness lengthens Romeo's hours?
Without my love, all hours seem long.
And love?
She haveth the name Rosalind. She is rich in beauty, only poor in her affections.
Although I might made you sad, I must depart. Cheerios.
Why must you torture me?
Here, in this scene, Juliet, only child of the Capulets, will discuss marriage with her mother and longtime nurse.
My dearest Juliet, thou wast the prettiest babe that ye had ever nursed. If I have my wish, I shall live to see thee wedded.
O thy dearest daughter, how stands your disposition to be married?
It is an honor I dream not of.
A honor, I would say thou hast sucked wisdom from thy teeth.
You must think of marriage, dear. For much upon these years I birthed you. The valiant Paris seeks for you for his love.
The valiant Paris is a man so perfect he could be a wax statue.
At tonight's feast you must read him like a book. Then you must gain glory.
Women grow by men.
Speak briefly. Can thou cherish Paris's love?
I will wed him as long as I have thou consent.
Go, girl, seek happiness.
In hopes of easing Romeo's depression, Benvolio and Romeo's good friend Mercutio convince him to attend the Capulets' ball in order to meet new women.
Not go. Thou can't even dance.
Nay, gentle Romeo, we must see you frolic.
No, thou shalt not go.
Yes, thou shalt.
Fine, we shall go for a bit, but we must sleep.
Under the cover of a mask, Romeo attends the Capulet ball, which Juliet is also attending. Here these star-crossed lovers shall lock eyes and lips for the first time. Later, Juliet's cousin Tybalt recognizes Romeo and is outraged.
My lips be two pilgrims. They shall soothe their touch with a tender kiss.
Aye, pilgrims' lips must use in prayer.
My lips shall have their sin.
By his voice should be a Montague, I'll strike him dead without a sin.
Young Romeo, is it?
'Tis he, the villain Romeo.
You shall not, Tybalt. Verona brags of him as a virtuous and well-governed youth.
I will leave him alone, though he is a villain.
Juliet appears on the balcony outside her room. She cannot see Romeo, who stands in the garden just below. At the beginning of this scene, the characters speak to themselves in private. Romeo, however, can hear Juliet as she expresses her love for him, despite his family name. Eventually, he speaks directly to her, and they declare their love for each other. Just before dawn, Romeo leaves to make wedding plans.
But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is east, and Juliet is west. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who's already sick and pale with grief, that thou her maid art far more fair than she, but not her maid, since she is envious. Her vestal livery is but sick and green, and none but fools do wear it, cast it off. It is my lady, oh, it is my love. Oh, that she knew she were. She speaks, yet she says nothing. What of that? Her eye discourses, I will answer it. I am too bold. 'Tis not for me she speaks. Two of the fairest stars in all of the heavens, having some business doing, entreat her eyes, to twinkle in their spheres until they return. What if her eyes were there, they in her head? The brightness of her cheek would shame those stars as daylight doth a lamp. Her eyes in heaven would through the airy region stream so bright, that birds would sing and think it were not night. See how she leans her cheek upon that hand? Oh, that I wore a glove upon that hand, that she might touch that cheek.
Aye, me!
She speaks, oh speak again, bright angel, for thou art as glorious to this night, being over my head, as a winged messenger of heaven, unto the white uptuned wondering eyes of mortals that fall back to gaze on him when he bestrides that lazy pacing clouds, and sails upon the bosom of the air.
O Romeo, where art thou, Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name, or if thou wilt not be thee sworn my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet.
Shall I hear more, or shall I speak of this?
'Tis by thy name that is my enemy. Thou art self, though not a Montague. What's Montague? It is nor hand nor foot, no arm nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other names would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes. Without that title, Romeo doff thy name, and for that name no longer part of thee, take all myself.
Dear saint, is hateful to myself because it is an enemy to thee. Had I written it, I would tear the word.
My ears have yet not drunken 100 words of that tongue's utterance, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo and a Montague?
Neither, fair saint, if either thee dislike.
How camest thou hither? Tell me, and wherefore? The orchard walls are high and hard to climb, and the place death, considering who thou art, if any of my kinsmen find thee here.
With love's light wings do I approach these walls, for stony limits cannot hold love out, and what love can do that dares love attempt. Therefore my kinsmen are not left to me.
If they do see thee, they will murder thee.
Alack, there lies more peril in thine eyes than 20 of the swords. Look thou but sweet, and I am proof against enmity.
I would not for the world saw thee here.
I have night's cloak to hide me from their sight, and but thou love me, let them find me here. My life were better ended by their hate than death prorogued, than wanting of my love.
Thou knowest the mask of night is on my face, else would a maiden be blushed, be paint my cheek, for which thou hast heard me speak tonight. Fain would I draw on form, fain deny, which I have spoke, but farewell compliment. For if thou thinkest I am too quickly won, I'll frown and be perverse, and say thee nay, so thou wilt woo, but else not for the world. In true, fair Montague, I am too fond, and therefore thou mayest think my behaviour light. But trust me, gentlemen, I'll prove more true than those who have more cunnings to be strange. I should have been more strange, I must confess. But thou have overheard me. Each ear was ware my true love's passion. Therefore pardon me, and not impute this yielding to light love, which dark night has so discovered.
Lady, by yonder blessed moon I swear, that tips with silver all these fruit tree tops.
Swear it all, or if thou wilt, swear by thy gracious self, which is the God of my idolatry, and I'll believe thee.
If my heart's dear love.
Do not swear, although I joy in thee. I have no joy of this contract tonight. It is too rash, too unadvised, too sudden, too like the lightning which doth cease to be. Ere one can say it lightens, sweet good night. This bud of love, by summer's ripening breath, may prove a botanist's flower when we next meet. Good night, as the sweet repose and rest come to thy heart as with thy breast.
Oh, wilt thou leave me so unsatisfied?
What action can thou have tonight?
The exchange of thy love's faithful vow for mine.
Thou didn't request it, and yet I would to give it again.
Wouldst thou withdraw it? For what purpose, love?
To be frank, and give it to thee again, and yet I wish for one thing I have. My bounty is as boundless of the sea. My love is as deep, the more I give to thee, the more I have, but for both are infinite. I hear some noises within. Dear love, adieu.
Juliet, come inside.
Nurse, sweet Montague, but true. Stay for a little, I will come in again.
Oh, blessed night, I am afeard. Bring in night, all this is a dream. Too flattering sweet to be sustainable.
Madam!
I come in on.
Madam!
So, thrive my soul.
1,000 times good night.
1,000 times the worse, to want thy light. Love go towards love as schoolboys from their books, but love from love towards school with heavy looks.
Hist, Romeo, hist! Oh, for a falconer's voice, to lure this tassel gentle back again. Bondage is hoarse, and may not speak aloud, else would I tear the cave where echo lies, and make her airy tongue any more hoarse than mine, with repetition of my Romeo's name. Romeo!
It is my soul that calls upon my name. How silver sweet sound lovers' tongues by night, like softest music to attending ears.
Romeo!
My sweet,
What o'clock tomorrow shall I send to thee?
by the hour of 9.
I will not fail. 'Tis 20 years till then. I have forgot why I did call thee back.
Let me stand here till thou remember it,
I shall forget, but have thee still stand there, remembering how I love thy company.
and I'll still stay to have thee forget, forgetting any other home but this.
It's almost morning. I would have thee gone, and no further than a wanton's bird, that lets it keep a line from its head, like a poor prisoner in his twisted grave, and with still thread plucks it back again, so loving jealously of his liberty.
I would I were thy bird.
Sweet, so would I, yet I should kill without much cherishing. Good night, parting is such sweet sorrow, that I shall say good night till it be morrow.
Sleep dwell upon thine eyes, peace in thy breast. Would I were sleep in peace, so sweet to rest. Hence will I to my ghostly father's cell, his help to crave, and my dear hap to tell.
This scene begins in Friar Lawrence's cell in the monastery. Romeo goes from the Capulet's garden to the monastery to ask the friar for advice. The friar knows Romeo well and often gives him advice. Friar Lawrence is a known herbalist, a fact that will later be important to our story. Romeo tells the friar he loves Juliet and wishes to marry her. The friar is skeptical but later decides to support Romeo's marriage, hoping it will end the feud.
Oh, friar! Good morning, father!
God pardon, son. What's thou with Rosaline?
No, my ghostly father, that name is now a woe.
That's good, my son. Where hast thou been?
Thou hast been feasting with thy enemy, and I have come to ask for your consent to wed.
Who has wounded you?
Her name is Juliet. She is a fair and true maiden.
Holy St. Francis! What happened with Rosaline, who you love so dear, so soon forsaken?
Don't speak that name anymore, father. Rosalind is none. Juliet is my new love.
Do you think thou was being hasty? However, I see thou's marriage to Juliet resulting in the end of the feud thou stricken your households. Now I shall, in this respect, marry you.
Oh, hence, father! Come dance!
In this scene, Juliet goes to meet Romeo and Friar Lawrence. Friar Lawrence will later marry them.
Love with caution. Here comes the lady.
Good evening to my ghostly confessor.
Romeo shall thank thee, daughter, for both of us.
As much thanks unto him as to me.
Ah, Juliet, the measure of thy joy is mine, and thy skill be more to blazon it. Sweeten thy neighbor air, and let the rich music unleash the happiness.
Conceit, more rich in matter than words, brags of his substance, not of ornament. They are but beggars, that they can count their worth. But my true love is grown to such excess, I cannot sum up some of half my wealth.
Come with me, and we will make short work. For by your leaves you shall not stay alone. For Holy Church incorporate two in one.
Romeo and Juliet are married. In this scene, Mercutio and Benvolio meet Tybalt on the street. Tybalt insults the Montagues, and Mercutio becomes furious. They later fight. Benvolio tries to separate them. Tybalt stabs Mercutio, who dies. Romeo then challenges Tybalt, kills him, and flees.
Here comes action.
I don't care.
I wish to have a word with you.
A word with us?
You shall speak to me.
I shall not.
Art thou allied with the scum Montague fair Mercutio?
Why must you call us scum? Are you ready to deal with the consequences of your actions? Take which foul demon you have insulted!
No! Ah!
Go Mercutio! Go Mercutio! No!
Kill my good friend Mercutio, you shall die!
After Tybalt is slain by Romeo, the nurse rushes to Juliet to tell her the news. Juliet is extremely upset.
I'm grieved.
What has occurred?
He's dead. He's gone. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead.
Can heaven be envious?
Romeo can.
Has Romeo slain himself?
No, it's your cousin, Tybalt. I saw his wound. I saw it with mine eyes.
Has Romeo shed Tybalt's blood?
Yes, he's been banished from Verona.
Nurse, find my husband!
I will.
In this scene, Friar Lawrence tells Romeo he has been banished from Verona. Romeo collapses in shame and threatens to stab himself. Friar reacts by suggesting a plan that Romeo is to spend a few hours with Juliet and then escape to Mantua.
Come forth, Romeo!
Friar, what is the prince's verdict?
The prince brings 3 messages. You shall not be killed, but you shall be banished.
Banished is worse than death. That's worse than death, Friar. What shall I do?
Hide, my boy! I shall protect you! Who knocks?
It is me. I come for my lady, Juliet.
Welcome, then.
Where is my lady's lord?
Over there on the ground, weeping openly.
I'm glad that Romeo shares my lady's disposition. She weeps and weeps.
Go comfort Juliet's sorrows. Romeo is coming.
After Paris's insistence, Lord Capulet finally agrees to let him marry Juliet.
Wish to wed your daughter Juliet.
With Tybalt slain so soon?
Yes.
When?
Today.
No, much too soon. You must wait until Thursday to wed Juliet.
Alright.
In this scene, Juliet goes to Friar Lawrence for advice on how to avoid marrying Paris. Friar Lawrence then divulges his plan to her.
How can I prevent this matrimony?
I have an idea, but a desperate idea. Only if thou is willing to kill thyself for the briefest moment.
I shall do whatever it takes, for I shall not wed Paris.
Well, you shall give consent to marry Paris, but then you shall ingest this liquid, which it will make you feel cold and drowsy, almost dead-like. And then I shall free you from this present shame.
Very well, if that's what it takes, then so be it. Good morrow, good sir.
In this scene, Juliet drinks the poison given to her by Friar Lawrence. She has high hopes that by doing so, she will finally get to live her life out with Romeo once everything has occurred.
Why aren't thou answering me? Juliet! My lady, it's Juliet, come!
What has occurred?
She's dead, you see, she's dead!
My only child is gone from this earth. Wake up!
What a sad day, Juliet, wake up!
She's dead, she's dead, she's dead!
No!
In the tomb, Friar Lawrence intends to take her to his room until she awakes and reunite Romeo and Juliet. But before Romeo can be warned of her fake death, Friar Lawrence finds that Romeo was not warned. Romeo thinks that Juliet is dead, and in his despair, he visits her tomb after killing Paris and then poisons himself. Juliet awakes, and after finding Romeo dead, she takes her own life, and their families finally reconcile their long feud.
I'm coming for you,
You cannot
Juliet!
defile these bodies anymore! Ah!
Why has death taken Juliet as its lover? I shall drink this poison, and with it, die. The poison is fast.
Romeo! What has happened to you? Why thou lie there? Poison? Oh, thou hast not left any poison for me to kill myself with! But thou hast left me a knife, and so I shall die with my lover!
Our dear daughter is slaying herself!
After all this bloodshed, I think we should end our feud.
Yes, we must end our feud.
We will build a golden statue for Juliet.
Yes, we will never fight again.
Please not hug.
Why?
Because I wasn't ready! How can I prevent this matrimony?
I have an idea, a desperate idea.
What? So funny! Stop laughing!
Sorry. Okay.
Okay, restart. This was an easy scene!
I know.
Okay.
It's still videotaping.
How can I prevent this matrimony?
I have an idea, a desperate idea, but only if thou is willing to kill thyself.
Juliet! My lady! Why aren't thou answering me? Juliet! Juliet! My lady! My lady! It's Juliet! Come!
What has occurred?
She's deceased! She's dead!
My only child is gone from this earth. Wake up!
What sad day, Juliet!
She's dead. She's dead. She's dead.
I wish to wed your daughter, Juliet.
By his voice should be a Montague. I'll strike him dead without a sin.
Young Romeo, is it?
'Tis he, the villain Romeo.
Oh no, you shall not do that. Tybalt, he's Tybalt, right?
Yeah.
I'm grieved.
What has occurred?
He's dead, he's gone, he's dead.
Can heaven be so envious?
Romeo can.
Has Romeo slain himself?
No, he's slain fair Tybalt. I'm grieved.
What has occurred?
He's dead, he's gone, he's dead.
Can heaven be so envious?
Romeo can.
Has Romeo slain himself?
I saw the wound.
Is Romeo alright?
He's killed your cousin.
Has Romeo shed Tybalt's
I have to
blood?
say Tybalt.
I wish to wed your daughter, Juliet.
With Tybalt slain so soon, you wish to wed Juliet?
Yes,
When?
Thursday.
No, you wish to wed her Monday.
Monday?